Hi, this is Mrs. Han. I'm going to help you with the mapping the Ring of Fire activity. So you can see we've got a map showing the Pacific Ocean ring. And what you're going to do first is you're going to plot at least 5 earthquakes using blue dots and 5 using purple triangles, 5 volcanoes. If you want to go ahead and print this out and use colored pencils or markers, that's fine as well. I went ahead and made a screenshot so that I don't have to scroll up and down. And I'm going to go ahead and do blue dots. So I selected shapes, I changed the thickness, I made circles, and then I selected blue. If I just go ahead and click like that, I'm going to make a big blue circle, which I don't want. So I'm going to undo. And if I just click, hold down, and drag a little bit, then I make a dot. So that's what I'm going to try and do for my my blue dots. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot one of these earthquakes just to practice. 121 east, 17 north. So north and south, as you remember, is going to be above the equator or below the equator. And then east and west, normally there's the prime meridian, which is 0, and then we just have east and west on either side. But we're on the other side of the prime meridian, so the prime meridian is on this side. It crosses through Africa, but we're on the other side, the Pacific Ocean. So this is called the international date line. And this is not 0 degrees, but it's 180 degrees. And it still has east and west on each side, but it's just going in the other direction. So it's kind of getting bigger this way, or smaller as we move away from it. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you too much, but let's take a look at 121 east, which is going to be right here, 120. So just a little bit to the right of that line. And then we're going to go to 17 north. So here's north, and we just need to go up to 17. Here's 20, so that means halfway would be about 10, and 17 would be about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a circle, or make a blue dot for my first earthquake. You can do another one. You'll notice that on this map, it only goes as low as 100 east. So if you see something like 12 east or 75 east, don't choose those to plot, because you won't be able to plot them. They're in an area that's not shown. So let's go ahead and look at 175 east and 41 south. So if we go to 175 east, that's going to be right here between 160 and 180. Halfway between is 170, and then 175 will be halfway between that. So this is about 175. And then it's 41 south. So here's the 40 line, and 41 will just be just a little below that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my dot there for 41 south. So that's how you're going to plot your earthquakes. I would do at least 5, but you can do more if you'd like. And then you're going to go ahead and make purple triangles for your volcanoes. So I'm going to change my shape to triangles. I'm going to change my color to purple. And then I'm going to go ahead and plot, let's go ahead and plot one of these from this side. So 150 west and 60 north. 150 west is going to be between 140 and 160. So there's 150. And then I need to go 60 north. 60 north is all the way up here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a triangle. It looks like a blob, but it's actually, trying to see if I make it bigger, it's a triangle, but it's okay. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do 4 more. Okay? And you'll see that they tend to be in a certain area, these earthquakes and volcanoes. And the more you plot, the more you'll see a certain pattern. Okay, after you plot your earthquakes and volcanoes, I'd like you to take a look at this Ring of Fire slideshow. And I'd like you to see here they're plotting a lot more, so you can see Along the Pacific Northwest, there's this pattern of earthquakes. They tend to not be all evenly spread out. They're sort of just dotted along, maybe a line, looks like a line here as well in Southeast Asia. This is Korea, Japan is somewhere under here. Look at all these earthquakes that have happened, and it definitely seems like they're all happening along some specific lines. And then now we can look at the Pacific Rim, which is what we just plotted, and you can see, wow, there's just, there's a pattern right here. So after you do that, you're going to look at this map that actually has earthquakes that were recorded between 1960 and 1990. So for 30 years, each dot represents an earthquake that had a magnitude of 4.0 to 7. And those are all recorded as a dot. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to outline the plates, the plates underneath that these plates, and label them. So for example, the North American plate is pretty big, but it's right around here. So this North American plate, I might get a better picture for you too. Let's do an easier one first. So let's do this Philippine plate right here. So in case you're like, I don't know where this Philippine plate is on my map. Well, look at how the earthquakes seem to outline exactly where that plate is. So right here is a nice border on the edge of this Philippine plate where you would draw your line. So you could just take a different color and use different color, and then you can start drawing the Philippine plate. So you could go ahead and, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But you're really just doing it dot to dot, and then you're going to label it. You're going to go to your text box and label it. Let's go ahead and do another one. The Coco's plate right here. Okay. This plate is right here. And notice again, I'm just following the line of earthquakes. Okay. I've got this right here, this Australian plate. Okay. And so you're going to go ahead and outline these 8 plates and label them. And then after you do that, let's see if I can undo this, then you're going to answer these questions. So how many plates lie under the Pacific Ocean? So this is the Pacific Ocean right here. How many plates are in there? This whole here, we've got this whole thing, Pacific Ocean. How many plates interact near Washington? So right here, this is Washington right here. So we've got a North American plate, we've got a Juan de Fuca plate, and we've got this Pacific plate. How many plates interact near Japan? Oh my goodness. So if you're wondering where Japan is, it's right here. So if we are right here, so we've got this Philippine plate, this Pacific plate, this North American plate, and this Eurasia plate, all intersecting right here over Japan, which is why you've got so much crazy ground moving in this area. Okay, and then take a moment and answer, how can earthquakes tell us where plate boundary edges are? And why are there so many earthquakes and volcanoes around the Pacific plate? So go ahead and complete that activity. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me.